LMI back, Dave, and it's been a while. What was it worth the wait for you?
I think so. I had a lot of anticipation and hype for this second LMI album, partially because, as you said, it's been a long time. The LMI self titled debut was fall 2018. And if we're really backing it up, her third EP Ready, that was February 2017. That's when Boot Up officially came out for the first time.
That's crazy.
Of course, her absolute monster romantic R&B smash, 7 times platinum in the United States, wins uh, best R&B song at the Grammys, nominated for Song of the Year. And then also off that album, you had Trip, which was 5 times platinum. Like she had made a huge impression, and kind of coming at a time where female uh, UK R&B singers were having a bit of a moment alongside her peer, Georgia Smith, for example. But I think it's interesting to revisit LMI now and think about where she exists, because I think she's coming out in a slightly different landscape for R&B music, just because LMI is a very romantic and positive person in her music, in her R&B music, and that's definitely different from a lot of the other stuff we get, which can be overtly toxic or at the very least sad. You know, the LMI makes more or less happy music, and in general, I just think she has a lot of smashes from her early EPs and the debut album. So I just wanted to hear new songs of the same caliber on this second album, which I had been anticipating. So I think there are some new songs to add to the LMI canon, and that's very exciting because when you take your time, intentionally take your time to make the follow up, you really hope it hits.
I was blown away by this album. I thought it just sounded so smooth, so beautiful, and she really just has this knack for crafting songs that don't necessarily like blow you away with like a powerful voice or even like a anything like super impressive sonically, but it just feels so buttery and so fun and pleasurable to be in these songs. And man, I'm so glad to have LMI back making music. After the
Mm.
like you said, a 3.5 year layoff, because she's excellent at it, and she just is. Her voice is just so smooth. I really love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and she knows it too right off the bat. Track one, trying.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Very specific vocal layering there,
hmm
and I mean, just sounds great. And
Yeah.
then track two, not another love song. She sounds good too, but now she's throwing like this big bass at you on the
hmm
production side of things. Yeah, I think it's very enjoyable, very smooth, as you say. But I think, like I said, lyrically, it really is worth considering how different lyrically she is from most of like the popular R&B music there is right now.
Yeah. I agree, and trying was a clear standout right from the beginning. But a few tracks later, didn't say with Lotto, I really liked.
Yes.
Um, uh, just beautiful, and Lotto fits so well. The way that they transition with Ella's like vocals fading out and Laudo just coming in, but it
Yeah.
then sounds so perfect. And they kind of like go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
Lotto's having quite the moment right now. Good for her. She's really rising because she's a good rapper. So yeah, I thought that was a very choice feature. Honestly, on how with Roddy Rich.
Mm.
Roddy coming off a very bad, disappointing album, but even Roddy fits in.
Yeah.
Not too bad next to LMI, you know. Um, but track five, Fallen Angel. That's another one that like immediately catches your ear. Apparently, at the listening event, a lot of the
Mm.
critics were like, "Hey, can we run that one back? We got to hear that again." And I think that's really because great performance from LMI as expected. But then halfway through, huge switch up in the song, and you get this choir, not even like background choir, not even background vocals, just straight up choir for the
yeah.
rest of the song. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely an awesome moment there. Um, what other tracks did you like? I mean, I feel like I
Yeah.
was writing down a lot of them as I went through, and it feels like there's a lot of like 2000s R&B influence kind
Mm,
of put in, and even times of like it feels very like Kanye inspired to me at points too. Like that choir you mentioned feels like something off of Pablo, for example, to me, like
sure.
right off the first track. But what else stood out to you?
I have a second to last song, "Sink or Swim," uh,
Mm,
was nice for me. But that's the thing too about LMI, like, she has album cuts on all of her work. Like, I really love "Breakfast in Bed" off the 3rd EP, for example, but there's gonna be a lot of songs on this that aren't singles that people are gonna really dig, and even though it's a long album, there's a lot of songs on here, 15 songs. I think it's totally fine because it's been such a long time, and like there's nothing that's low effort on this at all. It's all really good, and she just has a natural presence with her voice that just feels like a very specific presence within R&B overall. So I have
yeah.
nothing but good things to say, really.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's hard to just kind of keep saying like, "Oh, I loved this track" or "I loved this." Pieces stood out to me. I really liked that. I thought the chorus was nice. And just one of her like catchier ones on here. "Power of a Woman" I thought was great, and that's followed up by "A Mess," where her and Lucky Days have, I think, wonderful chemistry together and sing so beautifully on that. And then, later on, "Leave You Alone." Um, which is right before Sink or Swim, the one that you mentioned, has that like really auto-tuned vocal thing at the end that reminded me a lot of like um College Dropout Kanye, where he had a lot of that like on the workout plan, the "Let me see you work out for me," like that
Gosh.
that part just like reminded me of that, and feels like she might be trying to harken back to some of that time. But yeah, I mean, you go through this and you're just gonna have probably like 6 or 7 songs you just end up wanting to run back immediately. So check out "Heart on My Sleeve" from LMI. She's wonderful.